Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We have a special guest for today's video. Oh, he's thinking, Mum, what are you doing? So this is Aretino, for those of you that are new to my channel. He is just over 3 months old. So you are actually 13 weeks this week. So I thought it would be a perfect time for me to do a 3-month update with you guys and just let you all know how he's doing. Hey, look at me, say everybody. Say hello. Look. Dun 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 dun. You're like, Mummy, what are you doing to me? Right. Take some notes just so I don't forget anything, and I also asked some questions over on my Instagram, so follow me on Instagram too. I really hope you just heard that. Are we doing little burpees on camera so everybody can hear? Anyway, the thing I wanted to cover was his feeding. Now, as I said, he's 13 weeks now. I feel as though he's quite a hungry baby. He really has 5 to 6 ounces per feed. In the middle of the night, if he wakes up, he very rarely finishes the 5 or 6 ounces. He actually would normally then maybe have like 2 to 3 ounces sometimes, but during the day he has normally 5 or 6 ounces and normally finishes it no problem. Right, his feeding's always been a bit up and down. I don't know, maybe this is like what most children do, I'm not too sure, but he was quite a hungry baby to begin with. He could sometimes have like his bottle, and then an hour and a half later he could have another bottle, but then sometimes he could finish that bottle and then he could go 3 or 4 hours later and then want another bottle. So his feeding has always varied. It's never like a set, like say every 3 hours or every 4 hours, and he's done that pretty much since birth, and he's 3 months now and he still seems to be doing it. So I just think it's sometimes he could either be going through a growth spurt, or some days he's a little bit hungrier than other days. For example, I could feed him and he could have 4 ounces, and then literally an hour and a half later he would want more milk. So it really does vary. He never normally has as much milk during the night. If he wakes up for a feed, then he does during the day, so he normally gets most of his milk intake throughout the day. So actually, something that's quite important, the first couple of weeks he seemed a little bit uncomfortable, so we were using the Tommy Tippy bottles, which I absolutely loved with Gabriella. I used those with my first daughter, my firstborn, and she took to them no problem, but I wasn't sure, I couldn't work out if he was getting a bit of wind and he seemed a bit uncomfortable. So what we did was we just basically bought the man bottles, and so ever since then he's been feeding off the man bottles, which are absolutely great, and I feel like he sort of took to these much better. But a little side note, they do leak a little bit, so if you're willing to look past that, I do think these are great bottles. And ever since then he's been absolutely fine. We haven't had any sort of uncomfortable issues, no wind issues or anything like that. And seeing as I am also on the topic of feeding, I did combo feeding. So for the first 3 weeks I was breastfeeding and bottle feeding. However, for very many reasons, I just did not have enough milk. I then got mastitis, and it was mainly the fact that I had lack of milk, and I had this issue with Gabriella as well. So basically, since he was 3 weeks old up until now, he is just solely on formula. You're a very happy baby, aren't you? Yes, you are. So now that I've covered feeding, let's talk about his sleeping. So again, the first 2 weeks he worried me, because as a newborn, I know they wake up a lot, but wow, were you up a lot? So he was up every like hour and a half to 2 hours. So I was getting a bit worried, and also he seemed to only really settle when he was lying on me. Since then he's absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot complain for a 3-month-old. We're now slowly getting into a routine now, and that's something that I wanted to do with Aretino that I didn't quite do with Gabriella. I personally think that it's great if they're in some sort of routine. That's my opinion though, okay? Everyone can do what suits their lifestyle and their household. Now, he actually now is going upstairs to bed around 9 o'clock. Sometimes he goes to bed straight away, other times it takes him about 15-20 minutes, and he still sleeps in our room next to me in the snooze pod, which by the way I think is absolutely fantastic. And what I love is that you can gently rock him to sleep. But yeah, between 9-9:30 now PM he is upstairs asleep. Now most nights, this I'm going to tell you his main routine. Most nights he would be, say, asleep by 9:30, and he will go all the way through until 3 o'clock in the morning, and he has a very quick feed. It's normally about 20 minutes in total. He has a bit of milk, like I said, he never finishes the bottle really. He has a few ounces, and then he has a quick nappy change and then straight back upstairs to bed. During the night though, it's really weird, I never ever seem to rock him. He will just go straight into his bed and that's it, straight asleep. So he's normally really easy. It's literally wakes up, he doesn't ever even cry, to be honest. Does a little bit of a whinge, I hear him, we go downstairs, quick feed, quick nappy change, back upstairs to sleep. Then after that it varies. So he normally does his longer stretch at the first part of the night, and then the shorter stretch the second part of the evening. Then he could wake up maybe at 6 o'clock again. He'll have maybe another ounce or a couple of ounces, and at that point I leave him upstairs in our bedroom now, and while I'm in bed I'll just give him the extra bit of milk and then straight back to sleep. And like today, he woke up at 6, I gave him literally an ounce, that was enough, and he went back till 7:30 this morning. So at the moment I'm actually really happy with his sleeping routine. I'm more than happy to wake up once or twice a night, and obviously the odd night we have, you know, we have a few extra wake ups, but that's not normally our routine. He's normally very, very good. I do think he's teething, moving on from his sleep, I do think he's teething already, which is a bit of a shock to me because Gabriella didn't stop teething till she was about 6 months, which I know every baby is totally different, but because he's so little, he's so diddy, and I'm like, how are you teething at 3 months? But we've got a lot of the fist in his mouth already, a lot of dribble. I don't know if you're probably seeing that on camera, and sometimes I do think when he wakes up the extra times in the evening that he is actually a bit uncomfortable. Overall, I have to say he is a very, very, very happy baby. He's very chilled. He's very happy to sit in his chair, his rocking chair. Only time he really cries is when he's starting to get quite overtired and when he's hungry. And literally that is it. I mean, other than that, he's just so happy. He's laughing now. He's actually like making the sounds of laughter, and he's not just sitting there smiling, and oh, it's just so cute. I don't know if you can actually hear Gabriella shouting in the back, but I'm filming this while Ev's on his lunch break at work, and I thought, right, I'm going to quickly come upstairs, film this. So she's obviously having some sort of tantrum about something. I've never ever used a white noise for either of my 2 children, but both of them have seemed to really like this. Basically, it's got 3 different functions. So can you hear that? I normally just put that on sometimes, and that is enough to settle him. It's got different sounds, and I normally just switch them from one to the other. He doesn't really have a preference, and sometimes when it takes a little bit longer to get him to sleep, I just pop that on, and that really, really soothes him, and he absolutely... Bath time! So again, at the beginning we cried a little bit when we went in the bathtub, but now he absolutely loves it. He's laughing, he's splashing his arms and his legs, and yeah, and he actually normally, sorry, no, he cried when we got him out of the bath, but now we don't have that issue at all. So you go straight in the bath, he loves it, we take him out now, no crying. He also used to cry a little bit when we changed his nappy. He just hated being cold. Also not an issue, and yeah, he just lies there and is very, very happy. Aren't you? Tummy time. Now, this is something that's always mentioned. Now, his tummy time, to be fair, actually, this is also linked to his sleeping. Now, he has actually slept on his belly since, I think, 2 weeks. I know in the UK the guidelines are not to put them on their belly. They always say put them on their backs. However, he would not sleep, and at the end of the day, not every single baby is exactly the same, and some like sleeping on their bellies, just like we like sleeping on our side. We might have a preference on our right or left side. Some people sleep on their bellies, some sleep on their backs. Same for a baby, okay? I know they say it's not really safe, and trust me, I didn't really sleep very well for those 2 weeks. I was really, really nervous, but obviously each night goes, you start getting a little bit more comfortable with it. And what am I supposed to do if he's just not going to sleep on his back? So yeah, he's actually slept on his belly. So actually, he's been doing tummy time on his belly ever since then, because he sleeps all night on his belly. His day naps are also on his belly as well, and I would say his neck is really, really strong as well. And when I hold him up like this, I mean, his feet, you can just feel the strength. His feet are so strong, and he's been like that for ages. So yeah, he's doing really well. Oh, he's also had his 12-week jabs. I also featured his 4-week jabs in one of my vlogs, where we had to go to the doctor, and I was really nervous. Of course, any parent is, but in my opinion, obviously I wanted to give our children his immunizations. So he's had his 4 weeks and his 8 weeks. He's been absolutely fine for both. It's like he didn't even have any jabs that day, to be honest. He just got on with his day absolutely fine, still slept great, still acted absolutely fine, no issues. We've obviously got our 16 weeks one coming up soon as well, and after that we've got a bit of a gap. So we've had 2 lots, and now we've got 1 more lot, and then after this one we've got a nice long gap, because the next ones aren't now until a year old, which is great. Oh, what's so funny is at the beginning, I'm actually going to insert a picture, he literally lost all his hair, but it was all in the center, so he kept all the sides of his hair, and it was just so cute. Luckily now though, we have all our hair grown back, and his eye color as well, it seems to have a bit of a tinge of like grey green in them. I do think they're probably going to go brown like Gabriella's did, because hers were actually blue and then they changed to brown. So I don't think his are going to stay this color. I think they're going to change. Even at this point, hers changed quite late. The general routine is basically we wake up in the morning. We now are awake obviously more in the day than we were before, so his feeding can happen at different stages. He could feed at, say, 9:30 is his usual feed, so he could have his milk in the morning at 9:30. Yeah. He's back down for his morning nap between 10 and 11. Again, he could go anything from an hour's nap to a 2.5 hour nap. But at whatever point he wakes up in the day from his morning nap, I normally leave him up now for about 2 hours. Because he's older now, he's not just going to be literally fed and then taken straight back to sleep. He's up for about 2 hours, and then he'll have another top up of milk and then back down. It's normally the second nap in the day that he tends to have his longer nap, his longer sleep. And now what I've been doing is we've got a Moses basket downstairs as well, and that's where he usually used to have his day naps, but I've now started to bring him upstairs. One reason, because he's now slightly starting to outgrow the Moses basket downstairs, and 2, I feel really bad, and we always make noise with him. The TV's on, I get it, but it's also with Gabriella, and I feel really bad sometimes when I keep saying to her, right, we need to be quiet, you know, Aretino's asleep. I now started to bring him upstairs to have even at least one of his naps upstairs, which allows for me and her to just have some playing time downstairs, and I don't have to be so paranoid about us being so quiet. He's up, and then lately he's actually been having a really, really long gap, so he tends to wake up between 5 and 6 p.m. and then he is up till about 8:30, and around 8 o'clock, 8:30, we start having our last night milk, and then he's back down upstairs in bed around 9 p.m. So that is our normal routine at the moment. But if you're a first-time mum and you're watching this routine could literally change again by next week. I wanted to touch on just lightly about my postpartum. So this is what they call the 4th trimester, so my postpartum at the moment is going really well. I didn't get any of the baby blues like I did with Gabriella. With her, I think they lasted around 2 to 3 weeks. It just affected my mood. I felt a bit down, but with Aretino, I didn't have any of that actually. I'm a lot more adjusted now to life with 2 children. Yeah. At first, I'll be honest, the first 2 to 3 weeks, I found it quite hard. Don't forget, I had him and then a week later we went on lockdown. So we were all at home, we could never leave the house and we were finding it quite difficult. So but once those 2 to 3 weeks were over, we got into a bit more of a routine. I found times that, you know, I would prepare Gabriella's lunch when he was quiet or when he was sleeping, and it just became a lot easier. So that's great, and it's still the same case now. So you just find a new routine with 2 children. Like I'll be honest, I was really nervous. I thought, my goodness, I'm going to go from 1 child to 2 children. How am I going to cope? But you really do. You find a new routine with a 2nd child, with a 4th child. Oh, am I keeping you up? Are you getting bored? Don't worry, Mummy's nearly finished. So yeah, it's going great. Weight loss, or I should say weight gain, I have actually put on quite a lot of weight. I'll be honest, I had a lot more drive with Gabriella. I wanted to start working out when I had her after 2 weeks postpartum, but now we are just over 3 months and I still don't really have that drive, to be honest, to start with. Are you laughing? Oh my goodness, I think you've done a very big wee-wee. Oh, bless you. As long as you're comfortable in your skin, that's all that matters. And I'm going to start working out because I do love working out, but at the moment I'm just not quite there. But yeah, I have actually put on weight since I've had him, then actually lose weight. I actually think that's it, Aretino. I think that's enough with your 3-month update, don't you? Yeah? Do you want to say thank you for watching to everybody? I really hope you found that quite useful. And if you're a first-time mum, if you're a 4th-time mum, it's always nice sometimes to be able to see what other parents are doing and how other children are, you know, are getting on. Especially if you've got a 3-month-old as well. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you guys in our next video. Say bye, guys. Bye. 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 Bye.